Hey, church family. I want to take this opportunity to provide you with another word of encouragement as we continue to pray for the end of this pandemic. As we begin our third week in isolation, it's possible that you're beginning to grow a little discouraged. Discouragement, well, that leads to depression, and depression, if left unchecked, it can become suicidal thoughts of self-destruction. And it's sad to say that we are starting to see more and more people think of suicide as a solution for this pandemic. For example, there was a German state minister of finance who was found on Saturday after committing suicide. According to one report, he had become deeply worried over how to cope with the economic fallout from the coronavirus. The day before, there was a 34-year-old Italian nurse who took her own life after learning that she had accidentally spread the illness to others. And it was yesterday when a British teenager passed away in the hospital after a suicide attempt from 2 weeks ago. According to her grieving family, she was filled with fears because she felt like her entire world was closing in around her, and so she saw suicide as a solution. Now, if this is something that you can relate with, if you're struggling with suicidal thoughts because of this coronavirus pandemic, please trust me when I tell you suicide is most certainly not the solution. And I realize that it's difficult for people who are depressed to overcome those self-destructive thoughts. And yet I would encourage you, take some time to share your struggles with the people who love you. Take some time to share those feelings that you have, those depressions and those discouragements. Share them with others so that others can encourage you in this time. Not only that, but I also encourage you to consider the way that the Lord helped King David to overcome his depression. It's actually in the 40th Psalm where David declared, "I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. He also brought me up out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock and established my steps. He has put a new song in my mouth, praise to our God. Many will see it and fear and will trust in the Lord." You know, there was a point in time when King David wanted to die. He was so depressed that he simply wanted to die, but rather than committing suicide, he took time to pray and he sought help from the Lord, and the Lord brought King David out of that emotional pit of despair. And according to David, the Lord not only set his feet upon the solid rock of salvation, but the Lord also enabled David to rejoice by filling his heart with a brand new song. This reminds me of the promise that Jesus made in his Sermon on the Mount. It's Matthew chapter 5, where Jesus declared, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." According to Jesus, those who are sad, we can be blessed as we look forward to the coming of Christ's kingdom. And those who are mourning today, they can be comforted as we seek the blessings of the Lord. Therefore, rather than focusing on those discouraging things that cause depression, let's instead wait patiently for the Lord. Let's seek the Lord for the comfort that we need today. And as we seek the Lord through prayer, as we seek him through Bible study, well, I believe that he will set our feet upon a rock and he will establish our steps. Not only that, and as difficult as it is to believe, he will put a new song in our hearts as we walk by faith with Jesus. Finally, I want to remind you that you can join us this week for our weekly services, which include a midweek study Wednesdays at 7 p.m., as well as our Sunday morning service at 10 a.m. Both studies are streaming live right here online here at calvarysouthaustin.com. Hope to see you here. God bless you.